Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We will now go to the gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Secretary. I've been sitting listening with great interest as a law enforcement officer for so many years. I have to tell you, I was interested in hearing what you said about Alabama and that you were part of that. And you've said over and over again, including this morning, that you don't have the funds, so you have to prioritize. So why not accept states' help to be a force multiplier for your agency?
Well, we do, and let me tell you, the most important way that states help us right now and localities is through secure communities. That is an important tool, as we have now been able to expand it, to help us identify criminal aliens in the nation's jails and prisons.
And I listened as many of my colleagues asked questions, and the one in particular, Representative Gomart, had said something, and I was watching your reaction, and I was surprised that you didn't say, if in fact that is a problem, then we need to look into it. And, you know, has something been compromised, and is someone shopping a story? That concerns me that you didn't step up and say we'll put national security over any type of politics, and I will look into it. Will you commit to look into what Representative Gomart brought up earlier? Yes or no?
I apologize. I don't remember specifically what he brought up, but yes, absolutely. If there are national security issues or important policy issues involved,
well, I want to make sure that we're doing our national security above politics at all times. I am really,
of course.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I heard someone else say.
Would the gentlewoman yield for just a moment?
I will in just a minute.
Okay.
I want to get through my questions. I heard someone else ask you about limbo indefinitely, but in fact, isn't it true that if they're in deportation status and their home country will not accept them, that you release them back into the communities?
Well,
based on a ruling?
Yeah, there's a Supreme Court case called Zavidas, which is a due process case, which if the home country cannot accept or will not accept, gives us about a 6-month detention period.
And in fact, some of these people have come back into the communities and committed heinous crimes, truly heinous, like Wang Chen, who killed a young woman, I believe, after China had refused to repatriotize him. Is that true? And if I remember reading this correctly, they still have not located her heart and lungs. So, I mean, and another one who killed a police officer in Fort Myers after being released back into the community because their home country would not take them. You know, Section 243D of the Immigration Nationality Act requires the government to sanction countries that refuse to repatriate by suspending issuance of immigrant or non-immigrant visas or both to nationals of the country until it takes aliens back. You, now it's DHS, is supposed to order or give the country that refuses take back its aliens to the Secretary of State shall order that the visas to its citizens be suspended. How many have you recommended under Section 243D?
We have not. What we have done is work with their countries that systemically refuse to accept their aliens back.
So you're telling me you have not done any?
Not that I'm aware of.
And so we could possibly have...
We're talking about the same thing. I'm having...
Well, it says that these are people who are pending removal, but their home countries aren't taking them.
All right.
You have the ability to recommend that upon notification by the Attorney General now given by DHS that a country refuses to take back its aliens, the Secretary of State shall order the further visas to its citizens be suspended. I ask you, how many times have you recommended and how many times has that happened?
I would have to look into that.
It seems to me, Madam Secretary, that if you're not willing, you said just a minute ago you had not, now you're going to look into it. I've listened to that all morning long. I've been amazed at some of the answers given, knowing that you were coming before this committee. You've got deaths of agents in Fast and Furious. You have Iran planning to come across our borders because they see what apparently your agency does not, that we have an open border. And you have deaths of our citizens, and law enforcement officers based on people being not because their own home countries won't take them, but because they're being released into our country after committing crimes. And you're telling me you don't know now. First you said you hadn't done it. Now you don't know if you had recommended that there be some kind of diplomacy push forward on these countries. Because now, let me finish.
Excuse me, Representative. I just wanted to make sure we're being clear, because in this committee, I think I'm trying to provide as accurate information as I can.
Correct.
What I'm suggesting to you is that we have been working through the State Department with some of the countries that routinely refuse to accept illegal aliens back. But I don't know for other diplomatic reasons.
Okay, tell me this. Has DHS sought or obtained
visas.
Has DHS sought or obtained any legal opinion that for some reason DHS need not comply with this duly enacted statute?
I'm not sure. Again, that's kind of a gotcha question. What I'm saying is that we are working and have been working with the State Department with some of the countries that routinely refuse to take back criminal aliens.
Madam Secretary, with due respect, that's not a gotcha. These are statutes, and what I've heard from my committee members is that they've been asking you several times, have you been complying with statutes? Or is there a statute that you can rely on for not complying to statute? So, well, I will ask respectfully if you will get me that number. How many times? Since you do not have that number now, and you said first no, you didn't do it, now you don't know, I will be more than happy for us to put it in writing so that there will be no misinformation or misunderstanding. And I yield back.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman